Hey everyone, I'm finally back in Australia, right? Feels good to be home. I was gonna do something yesterday, but for some reason I'm just really tired, right? Really tired. Not really sick. For some reason I'm really hungry, right? I'm just really hungry. And this hunger is translated to some new cards they're revealing today on the stream, and they're all Brandt Gate cards. It's the new Rhyme line from set 11, which actually shows some pretty good promise, right? I know some people have been comparing this one to Gandiva, being like this really nice drive line coming out of set 10 that just kind of works out the box. Looking at these cards, I feel like these cards also work out the box and just seem to be really good, right? So let's kind of get started. First off, this is apparently from Youthquake, the manga, right? So if you've been reading that, then you probably know what some of these cards do. But first off, we got Silhouette Man, which is just a nice starter, right? But then this grade 1 ride line we have is Garter Silhouette, and this one is just the usual, auto when this unit is placed by riding from Silhouette Man. So you just have to ride over the zero. You have to run the zero, I guess. Search your deck for up to 1 Machinery's Factory, reveal it and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. Alright, so nice. And this is the Machinery Factory. So act, AutoZone, cost, rest this card. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. Choose up to 1 card with armed arms in its card name from among them and reveal it. Put it into your hand if your drop zone has a card with the same card name, and discard it if your drop zone does not have it. If you put a card into your hand, put this card into your soul and shuffle your deck. So pretty good. Build some soul, right? But this deck will be needing a lot of soul. Kind of lets you grab stuff out of the deck, right? But on the second time you add it to hand. First time you have to put it to drop, and then once you have it in drop, you can add it to hand. But if you discarded it from discarded card from a ride line and then you search it, I guess it just goes straight to your hand and you can put this into soul. So that's not bad. And then the second effect is Act AutoZone. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Silhouette in its card name, cost, put this unit into soul. Choose up to 2 cards with armed arms in their different names from your drop and call them to the open regard circle. So this one's actually pretty good. It gives this order some function, not just in the early game to thin out your deck, but in the late game when you want to call those armed arms out. After you've lost them, then you can call them out with this, and just a multifaceted card. So pretty good, and build soul. Both of them build soul, which is very nice. Then we've got armed arms right. So this is the right arm, right? So when this unit, this is a Vanguard circle and Regard circle. So when this unit attacks a Vanguard, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Silhouette in its card name, counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's grade 2 or greater Regards, retire it, and this unit gets plus 5,000 is the end of that battle. So pretty nice, just a nice on-attack retire, CB1. But then we have the Armed Arms L, or left. So Vanguard and Regard Circle effect. When this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater Vanguard, if you have a Vanguard with Silhouette in its card name, counterblast 1 and draw cards. So this one, I feel like we're going to be using this one a lot more, just to build up a big hand. CB1, it's a CB1, but if the rest of the deck doesn't use that much CB, then it's fine. And I just feel like this will probably be more value than the right arm, although the right arm will still be pretty good when you get it out when you want to retire specific cards in certain matchups, right? So very nice. And then we have the this should be Kaiser Silhouette. So this is the grade 2 ride line. When this unit is rode upon by Gigant or Gigant Arms Silhouette, choose up to 2 cards of armed arms in their different card names from your drop and call them to the open regard circle. So I guess it's very encouraging to either rush with those cards as early as possible, or use the order to dump them to the bin, or use them as the ride line, because this will just let you get them back. All those kind of average in that you have to get them from the drop zone. So if you've been doing not much, then you're not getting the nice plus from this card. So yeah, okay, I guess that's okay. All right, it's okay. And then lastly, you got the Gigant Arms Silhouette. So auto Vanguard circle once per turn. At the beginning of your attack step, Soul Blast 1 as a cost, choose up to 2 of your Regards with armed arms in each of their different card names and attach them to this unit. And the brackets is move the attaching units to Vanguard Circle as stand. They cannot attack. The attached units get their power continuously, and they are moved to the Regard Circle as rest at the end of the turn. So, interesting enough, it's kind of like Legion, right? Except for your arms, right? So that's just how it is. At the beginning of the attack step is not the beginning of the battle phase. It is a step that is basically whenever you declare an attack. That's basically when it is. It's at the beginning of that, right? The first thing that happens. So you would ideally be using Gigat Arm's effect when Gigat is attacking after you're attacked with your 2 Reguards, and then you will attach them to the Gigat Arms, and they'll come in as stand. And then because they also have Vanguard Circle and Reguard Circle effects, so the V and Reguard Circle effects, it looks like you should be able to activate their effects as well. Yeah, because it's at the beginning of the attack step. Now, don't quote me on that. I'm sure there's going to be more rules concerning that. But yeah, that should be pretty cool. You have the Soul Blast 1 for it, so we'll use some Soul, but you don't need any CB for any of its effects. And then the second effect is Auto Vanguard Circle. At the end of the battle, this unit attack, choose up to one of the units attached to this unit and move it to the open Rearguard Circle as stand. It is no longer attached after being moved. So another key thing with this is moving the cards, right? When you move the card, it still retains its power and the critical value. Also, its state. So if it was rested, then it will be moved as rested. This is why all of these effects are making you stand it, right? But it does mean that, like, when you do something like, because it's still regarded as units, if you put like a trigger on that card, you'll move it out, and then it'll retain that trigger power and critical. So that's pretty good. Like, you trigger an Elder Breath, it'll become super powerful. But also, since they're units, right, you can, your power, right, your power is gained like multiple times when it comes to things like Persona Ride. So there will be, they will tell rulings about that soon. But because they're all separate units, Persona Ride will affect them all individually. So you'll basically get 20k each. So you'll get a total of 60k for Persona Ride. Also, if something like a front, well, not 60, you get 30k, right? But because the arms are like 20k each, you know, they get 10, 10, 10. Yeah, it gets really strong. It gets really strong. And then the things like what was it, like front triggers, for example, since they're all separate units as well, you get like three fronts for the cost of 1 front, pretty much, right? Because they're all going to get 10k. It's a plus 30k front to the Vanguard Circle. But at that point, like, your Vanguard Circle is massive, yeah? So without Persona Ride, it's already hitting for 33k. With Persona Ride, you're hitting 63k, because you get the extra plus 10s for each of them. And then let's say you hit a front, that's like 93k, right? But when you're hitting 63k with your Vanguard Circle, your opponent's either perfect guarding or not really guarding at all. That's just how it is. Well, maybe someone will have to at a certain point throw down like 4 cards to guard. But then if they do that, life is good. I feel like life is very, very good for you. On its base, though, it looks like you're going to do 4 attacks because you do the Reguard Circle attacks first, then attack with Vanguard. Put all the triggers on an arm that you like, your favorite arm, and then you call it out. But then it doesn't really say that they have to be front row armed unit, right? So you can technically like have arms in the back row circle, and then, you know, you can do like multiple attacks, I guess. Like, you can do your first arm attack or one of your side attacks, and then attach with that arm and then the one in the back, and then you can hold out the arm on the other side. So that makes 4 attacks still. But this means when you trigger something like Elder Breath or a front, the card that's like sitting in the last card sitting in the front row that you have an attack with does get the value from those triggers, which is pretty good. I think that's pretty good, right? So overall, pretty nice, but there's still more support. So this is Bustling Mechanic Rodney. So continuous Reguard Circle. If you have a Vanguard attached this turn, this unit gets plus 10k power. So pretty much like an 18k, right? And then Auto Back Row Circle, Reguard Circle. At the end of the battle, your Vanguard with a silhouette in its card name attacked a grade 3 or greater Vanguard. If your front row has no Reguards, cost Soul Blast 1 and stand this unit. So ideally, like, you know, you get 2 18k boosts, right? Because what they want you to do is to suck in both arms into the Vanguard, right? And then, hey, you know, there's something in the front, you know, you can stand the booster, and then the guy comes down in front of this and gets another 18k boost. You probably don't need to do that because one does require a soul, right? 18k by itself is already pretty good. And yeah, like, do you really want to waste the soul for that? I guess, like, if it's a finishing turn, sure, but, you know, it's not everything. I guess, like, when you look at the amount of soul this deck needs, it does already require 1 extra soul for the Vanguard attack. So I don't know. It also means you can't, like, benefit from triggers if you're running this guy, because you want to leave another card at the front to get the power. So you know, maybe this guy's like just not that good, right? Maybe this is one of the cards you don't need. This is double R, right? which might be nice because then you don't need to double up. So here's just some of the rulings as well with the arms, right? Because again, it's a new mechanic. So first question is something like, if you persona row this turn, do armed arms attached to your Vanguard get power? The answer is yes. And they give you the example here of the total power, right? So because they're all units, they are dipping into the 10k power separately. So 23 plus 20 plus 20, so it's like a 63 on the Vanguard circle. Pretty massive, right? The second question is, can you increase the power of armed arms, or they're attached to Gigant arms? And if so, what happens to the power of Gigant arms? So because they're all attached, you know, but they're still units, you can still put power there. And then because they're continuously giving the power to the Vanguard will get the power, right? So they could be like, you could put like 10k in a crit. Well, the power only the power goes through, right? The crit will have to be on the Vanguard circle if you want to make it deal 2 damage. But you can give 10k to one of the fists, and then, you know, they'll transfer that power continuously to the Vanguard circle, so the power will still apply. But then when you move the arm away, then that 10k stays on that. But if you give them the crit on the Vanguard, the crit doesn't move, right? But if you give it all on the specific arm, then yes, it does get the crit. It still retains it. And that's pretty much its last question, right? If you put power on the arms, like what happens when you move it? Well, it still retains the power. So pretty nice. Basically, you just have to understand the concepts of like moving cards around. If you played Spike Brothers, you probably know. If you played Pelennor, yeah, same concept. Now, and you know, if you were a Spike Brothers player, now you know why they tell you from like the Giera, that now you know why they tell you to move that card to the bind circle first before putting it somewhere else, so it loses basically everything, right? But yeah, that is kind of it. The silhouette arms, Gigant arms, man, does seem pretty good. It does, like, it could be the next Gandiva, right? And it's for Brandt Gate, so we have a good well, actually Gandiva's from Dragon Empire, so you know, both have really good over triggers. And yeah, maybe this is something we're gonna see very soon into the future, which is, I don't know, might be cool, right? Might be cool. Let me know what you all think, and I'll see you all in the next video. I'll probably be making some more, right? We still haven't talked about results because I was very tired today, but there's some extra stuff I want to talk about, a little bit of Japan stuff that I can talk about too. Should be coming up soonish, right? So yeah, bye.